Hey y'all, hey, it's your well woman practitioner LaShanna Moore, and guess what? I'm outside. Not the real outside where it's humid and sweltering heat the moment you step out. I'm in the backyard. The day is coming to an end. Sun is about to set. The breeze is breezing. It's nice and tolerable. And I actually thought about doing a review. I'm going to call it a wellness review. I am an avid reader, but I'm also an avid TV watcher. I'm talking about a good documentary, docuseries, TV series, all that kind of stuff. Things that just intrigue and engage you, right? And so doing what I do, you're watching something, you can't help but to pull certain nuggets from it. It's like a lawyer watching something that's going to pull something from their field. A doctor is going to do the same. A therapist is going to do the same. An investigator, those of you who like crime, you're going to do the same. So I thought I'm going to do that with a show, do a review, and let's pull something from it. All right, so let's do this. If you like it, let me know. We may do some more. I have chosen Reasonable Doubt, that is currently playing on Hulu. I absolutely love it. It's featuring Emiyatsi Corinaldi. Her character's name is Jax Stewart. She is married to Lewis, who is being played by McKinley Freeman. She's a high-profile lawyer, and we watch her really try to manage her life. Her marriage is in a season where it's tense. There's a lot of friction. They are separated. They are parents of 2 children, a girl and a boy. She has these very complicated cases, and she's trying to balance a lot. Her autonomy, her womanhood, her ideology, parenting, being a boss lady, her marriage, and her questions of success and failure. And so we see these clips. They're flashbacks as well as real-time stuff happening with her. A few things about the show, y'all. The fashion, magnifique. I mean, Jax is always dressed to the nines. Her hair is on point. I love that she is a savvy, successful Black businesswoman. She's in a diverse environment in terms of her office, but we know that she's also in a white, male-dominated firm. I love how she handles herself, but she does seem to struggle a bit with the balance of power, as I said before, autonomy, managing her backstories, and her home life. And so as you watch it, you may see a bit of your life, someone else's life that you know, but it poses a question to us. And that is, how do we understand boundaries when it comes to work and life? And how do we interpret the present when the past is constantly creeping up? All right, so here's the scoop. Season 1 opens up with a sneak preview into her life, how she goes about her day, her daily routine. We start to understand that apparently she and her husband are separated. They're doing things together for the sake of their children, like going to see her mother, who is also Pauletta Washington on the show. They go to church together. They do all of these things to try to maintain some sense of normality for the kids. However, case in point, children are not ignorant. The kids know that something is up. They feel the tension. They know that their mom and dad are not on great terms. And besides the fact they're living in separate quarters right now, she gets this high-profile case of this guy who is accused of sexual assault, followed by killing the lady. As a matter of fact, the gentleman's name is Sean Patrick Thomas. His character's name is Braden. Does a superb job. Listen, what I love about Reasonable Doubt, it takes you through so many twists and turns, and y'all, the writing makes any show exceptional, leaves you wanting more, if you have an investigative mind, it truly piques your investigative mind, while at the same time showing you so many different signals of life and behavior and emotions, and how the past creeps into the present, and how you can be successful in one area of life but completely be struggling in the other area of life. Well, trying to balance her 2 worlds, she cannot keep them separate. She has to work through a lot of childhood trauma. It comes to a head by her getting involved with one of her clients, the one and only Michael Ealy, who always plays a beautiful, mysterious fella. Anyway, gets involved with him to her detriment. And at the end of the season, her case, she wins the case, but discovers that her guy was actually guilty. So she has to put a flip on that so that justice can really be served. And then she gets kidnapped by the guy that she was fooling around with. The guy's name, well, let me see, Damon. That's the character. So she's got a hard pill to swallow. She learns a lot with that. So that's more trauma that's added. So here we are. Season 2 opens up right where season 1 left off, which is one of her BFFs in a fight with her husband. Shannon Kane plays the character Chanel. Chanel is in an abusive marriage. In a moment of rage, as of what we know right now, in a moment of rage, she kills her husband. He's a high-profile athlete, football player, and so the stuff is about to hit the fan, right? So here Jax is balancing her own trauma, trying to put her marriage back together, trying to be a good parent. Gets clearance from her therapist. Thankfully, she went to therapy, y'all. Gets clearance from her therapist to return to work, only to discover her best friend calling her to confess that she's in a bit of a doozy. So Jax has some hard decisions to make. Is she going to choose to be her best friend's lawyer, or is she going to choose herself? Now listen, both of these are very urgent, critical situations. But what do? So this is the stuff that's got to be discussed. Number one, therapy is a part of the show. She's been getting individual therapy. Now she is in marriage counseling with her husband. Now, of course, you're always going to be tested in the area that you're trying to grow in, right? Her husband wants more of her attention. She wants her husband to give her more respect, but she's also struggling with power. So number one, let me put this in bullet point. The first takeaway and thought to consider, number one, watch the show, y'all. But the number one point is to consider, when do you find the balancing act with how you perceive something and how much power to maintain, and knowing when to share that power for the sake of partnership and for the sake of peace, because that's where Jax is. The other situation in the show that's really a doozy is the friendship circle and the friendship dynamic. So you got your sister circle. You know, you're always down for each other, right? But even within the friendship circle, we see dynamics in the way that these women live, the way that they think, and the way that they make decisions. So by episode 2, they're trying, the girls, the sister circle, are trying to figure out how they are going to get Shannon out of jail, post her bond so that she can be out with her daughters while this case is being investigated. Now, Jax has put a lawyer in position because she has decided that she wants to focus on family life and rebuilding her marriage. But the power struggle enters, and she has intervened in Corey's decision. Corey Cash, who is played by the one and only Morris Chestnut, who never seems to age, gets better with time. He enters the scene at the request of Jax. He is also a high-profile lawyer who's going to take over this case. It appears that Jax gets in her own way again by usurping what Corey wants to do. But then here's the sister circle. So one of the sisters is married, like Jax, and they're trying to figure out how to post bail. She wants to put she and her husband's house up as collateral, right? Now, it appears that she's going to do it, and she hasn't discussed it with her husband. There are some breadcrumbs that lead us to believe that she did. So number 2, when you're in a partnership, when is too far too far? Now listen, you don't know what you're going to do in many situations until you are in that situation, which is why I think boundaries, mutual respect when you're in a partnership is essential. Because what we're seeing so far is the test of these women's boundaries and mutual respect of their partners. And so I believe that episode 3 is going to share with us a lot more. But this made me think: boundaries, crisis, backstory, success, failure. Where does success matter the most? and what determines success. What determines success in our lives? Because we see these very grown, very ambitious, very accomplished people struggling. So that's what we're going to be on the lookout for as we continue to watch season 2, as it continues to unfold. I want you to be thinking about that. Also, there are some really fun and endearing supportive roles. They are Angela Grovey, who plays Crystal, who is an assistant to Jax, and then also Tim Joe, who plays Daniel. So make sure you check it out. They're releasing the episodes on Thursdays, and it is found on Hulu. How can we watch this kind of stuff and get really good takeaways from it that we can apply to our life, or that we can also use as a balancing scale? All right? Be well, be whole. And as we also say, live, age, be well and whole. Bye.